Good afternoon, all of you. I'm Lashita Madhushan from University of Murudwa. First of all, I would like to thank my co-author, architect Janak Dharmasena, for being my research supervisor. I am here to present my research on quality of life of middle income group along urban canal waterfronts with special reference to the Greater Colombo region. The particular presentation will consist of an introduction to the study, objectives of the study, supportive literature, theoretical framework, methodology, findings, and conclusion and recommendation. As you all can see, first two images of the canals in Greater Colombo regions leaves us with something to think about. In most of the cases, the canal network in Greater Colombo region works as the drainage system of the urban area and as the backyard of the city. On the other hand, it directly affects the quality of life of people in those neighborhoods. According to Herath, if a city possesses a water body, it will directly affect to the identity of the city. These are my main objectives of the study. The first thing is to find out and evaluate the factors which affect the quality of life of people along urban canal waterfronts. Further, the study will help in providing information for the creation of government policies and as a design tool in implementing government projects. Any party interested in studying about the canal waterfronts can get an idea about the livability and can be compare the canal network in worldwide. Let's look at the literature part of the research. According to Anupoju, a canal is an artificial channel constructed to convey water from one place to another to power generate, navigation, irrigation, etc. According to the Giovinazzi, the urban area in direct contact with water is a waterfront. Also, these images shows how the canals were bonded with socio-cultural, religious, and ritual aspects over a long period of time. According to researchers, these canal waterfronts are mostly bonded with all religious activities. According to the Charmical and others, the term quality of life is much more complex to define, and it is a multifaceted concept. In 1930, researchers defined the quality of life in terms of gross domestic product, and it was used as an economic indicator. However, in 1960, the researchers have identified that this is only a measure of income of a nation and not the quality of life or the well-being of the people. However, latterly, the researchers have identified the quality of life is affected by various factors such as physical, mental, social, economic, cultural aspects. These aspects are addressing to canal-oriented developments taking place worldwide nowadays. When I was examining about the livability, there were so many factors and aspects talked by many researchers. If we are talking in depth, it will take days. So I have summarized it as follows. Livability is the living condition of a place and the user perception on the particular place, while the terms like quality of life, well-being, and life satisfactions are in the same conceptual framework. There is a bit similarity in the quality of life and the livability. Let's see how a livability index is made. Generally, a livability index is a measure of quality of life of people, while it is used to evaluate the progress in achieving social, cultural, economic, and environmental targets within a geographical region. For policymakers to create policies and to administrators to take care about the neglected aspects. Let's see about the general construction of a livability index. The first step of creating an index is the identification and the analysis of the demographic of community. Then the researcher must be able to create a carefully selected set of indicators dimensions, which is the final understandable outcome of a good review. The creator of indicators must have an ability to simplify a set of complex data into a simple format. This was how I was creating the theoretical framework. Let's go to the income group classification. According to the World Bank categorization, there are 4 main income group categories. According to that, the Sri Lanka is in the margin of lower income group and the middle income group. Therefore, there's a huge possibility in fluctuation in the country's economic. According to global classification data, the average national monthly income rate of a person in Sri Lanka is around 57,300 Lankan rupees in 2019. That means a person averagely earns that much of money in Sri Lanka. So the middle income group of Sri Lanka can be categorized nearly with that income range. By referring to the literature mentioned above, I have categorized 25 set of indicators under 6 broad categories, where dimensions, namely safety, comfort, health and well-being, socio-cultural status, mobility and transport, environment. This was how I conducted the rest of my research. Let's see about the case study selection. The Greater Colombo region was considered for this study because it consists of a massive network of water bodies such as canals, water, wetlands, etc. This research only focuses on canals due to the vast network of them covering the entire Colombo region and due to the emerging of some physical and social problems along those. 3 main canal waterfronts were selected, namely Kirulapani Canal, Kinda Canal, and the Matakoda Canal, and 5 sublocations were selected. Let's go to the sample selection. The targeted community was the middle income group, as they can be considered the most affected group from the condition of the canal waterfront. The middle income group was selected through a comparative observation of the physical character of people and their shelter due to the restrictions from COVID-19 pandemic situation. 6 individuals were taken from each sublocation and altogether 30 participants. Data collections was mainly done through a questionnaire, and a rating was given from 1 to 5, where 1 is considered as intolerable and 5 was considered as tolerable. The statistical data provided by various government authorities and departments related to canal waterfronts were taken in order to collect the quantitative data. Next 2 slides will demonstrate the findings. This slide will focus on the livability index for selected qualitative dimensions. According to this graph, it is clear that the transport is almost ideal. That is because majority prefer the introduction of water transport, as they believe that it will reduce traffic congestion and increase tourism potentials. Next highest rating is for the environment. That is because the existing environmental condition is almost satisfied by the existing community in that region. The lowest among the rating is health and well-being. That is because of the low level of sanitation facilities along urban canal waterfronts. This slide will focus on the main outcome. Proposed livability index for urban canal waterfronts in Greater Colombo region. After the combination of both qualitative and quantitative indices, 3 dimensions were varied. Reason for the variation of rating value is that the statistical data is more accurate than human perception, as the perception are subjective and depend on the individual's preference and through procedures. Therefore, a best outcome can be taken by the combining of both these 2 factors. Rating on the environmental dimension has decreased a bit due to the rating in relation to the statistical data are lower in Greater Colombo region according to the world standards and when comparing the situation of rural context in Sri Lanka. Only the quantitative data ratings were taken from the 3 dimensions. Next, let's go to the conclusion and recommendation. According to the above final livability index, it is clear that the government should address the health and well-being dimension due to the lower rating. As the middle income community thinking, it is because of the lower level of sanitation of the lower income group. And government must address the transport dimension, since the middle income community believes it is a plus point to increase transport facilities by reducing the roadway traffic in Colombo and to promote tourism. By the way, other lower rated dimensions such as social gathering, comfortability also should address by the administrators when applying policy making. Overall, the middle income community is satisfied with the environment that they live. The value of such water-based ecosystems can be identified with these kind of studies. These canals and waterfronts must be preserved and conserved for future generations without letting them be degraded or spoiled. Otherwise, these canals will be a place for garbage dumping and will be rivers of plastic and polythenes in future. Thank you.